Hello, everybody, and welcome back into Off the Boards. This is going to be episode 3. We are here. This is like the third time we've done this because I fucked it up multiple times. But I am Josh. That is Ryan on the far right. Ethan is our new guest host there in the middle. Say hi, guys.
Hey.
I hope everyone's day has been going well, so let's just jump right into it because I'm tired of fucking this up. So we'll talk about PTOs first. There's 2 PTOs signed today. Alex Goaltending and Bobby Ryan. We'll start with Bobby Ryan. One of you guys take it.
Bobby Ryan, very experienced player, some solid play in years past, any injury problems and all. But last year in Detroit looked pretty good, so a lot of veteran presence there. Definitely help the Detroit. So.
I was more surprised that going to Goaltending here. I was more surprised that he just didn't get a contract, that he got pushed to a PTO. Yeah. I thought he played fine in Toronto last year, but I don't know. I think he can succeed in the right role, but I don't think Arizona is the right role to succeed in.
Yeah, I mean it's. I hear if you want to go ahead.
Yeah, no. I agree. I think Galchenyuk is a player that can, like Josh said, fit into a specific type of role, but a role like Arizona is going to be a little bit harder for him to fit in, where he's going to have to be doing a lot of the carrying offensively, and personally, I don't believe he has that offensive skill to do it himself. I think he fits in well with other great players.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, 100% agree.
Yeah, I also just realized that I was recording from the wrong mic audio, but I was getting it, so I just changed that. So sorry if I sounded like shit for the first little bit there. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So there was a signing yesterday. It wasn't a PTO. We saw, was it yesterday? It was 2 days ago. Zdeno Chara to the Islanders.
Yes.
What do we think of
Chara
that?
to the Islanders. I mean, going back to his roots, started his career there, ending his career there. I think.
Did he start there? I thought he started in Ottawa.
Nope, he started in the Islands. He was drafted, I believe he was drafted by the Islanders.
Goes to show you how much I know. Well,
yep,
I mean,
drafted by the Islanders in 1996, but they're 4 years.
What are the Islanders doing? Like, honestly.
Trusting Barry Trotz.
Yeah.
Worked so far.
Is Lou Lamoriello smart, or is he just living in the 90s?
Why not both?
You know what? Fair enough. I'm not gonna. Yeah, that's fair. It's a fair call. I mean, well, I don't think there was that many other signings this week. Kale Yamamoto signed I think it was a 1 year, around $1.5 million deal.
1 year, 1.175.
I thought it'd be more than that. I thought it'd be for more years. I thought they'd bridge him. I didn't think they'd just go, you know what? Here's $1 million, and he was gonna be like, okay. But I guess when you play with Connor McDavid, you have to actually prove that you're good at hockey.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what he can do with probably playing with McDavid. I have to assume that.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll start the year on his line. He might. Well, we'll have to see. Then, I alluded to this in the last episode. Josh's 5 trades that he thinks is gonna happen before day 1. So we'll start off with the easy one. I think Subban is going to get moved to Boston, as much as I hate to say it. The only 2 teams he's linked to right now are Toronto and Boston, and Toronto does not have the money to do this, and I can't see them moving someone important to do it. Boston, of course, always has the money and is always in on every top free agent or trade acquisition for some reason. I still don't know how they do it, but they somehow do it. So they're gonna get PK Subban. I still think Mikko Koskinen's gonna get traded. And I still think it's going to be to Buffalo, because it's the only team to me that makes any sense. And what else? Oh, yeah, it's kind of a 4-trade thing. I don't know. I think there's going to be 3. I think the Rangers are going to go out and either acquire Phil Kessel or Tarasenko. Because we'll see later in this video how weak the right side actually is, and it's not strong. They could really use someone like that, because they lost Buchnevich to St. Louis. So if they go, St. Louis will trade for Tarasenko. I mean, then it kind of just like a 1-for-1. Could work. I think Kessel's I think Kessel's the easier one to go after, but I don't know. I mean, the thing is, like, if the Coyotes trade Phil Kessel over to New York, they're not gonna have to play him at all, really. If they trade him to St. Louis, they're in the same. I think they're in the same division this year, aren't they? So yeah, they're gonna have to fucking play them all the time.
No, St. Louis is in the Centrals.
I thought Arizona got
So-
moved to the Central.
Yeah, Arizona got moved to the Central, but St. Louis is still in the Central.
Yes, that's what I mean. They're in the same division.
Yeah, but not in the same division as New York.
No, that's not what I meant. I meant
Okay.
the reason I wouldn't see them going with the Tarasenko move is because then they're gonna
Okay, I
have.
see.
Oh wait, no, never mind. What am I saying? Whatever.
Yeah.
Ignore what
Okay.
I'm saying. I'm like half asleep for some reason. Yeah, no, the Rangers are gonna go out and acquire a winger, and Carolina might make a trade somewhere. I don't know. They seems like they need to make money, and Vancouver is gonna trade Tanner Pearson. Mark my words, he is gone. Like they
I hope
need
so.
they need the money. You guys need the money. You gotta sign Pedersen and Hughes.
I hope so. I hope so.
It's
all I
Pedersen
can
and
say.
Hughes or bust. Like that's it. If you lose them, you're fucked. Like it is what it is.
Absolutely. So
I think you guys will be able to get it done somehow, some way. It's just gonna be how. Just give me a sec
I mean, if you're a Vancouver fan, what would you want for?
Yeah, I'm actually curious.
what would I
What
want
do
for a Pearson trade?
Yeah, what do you think you could get?
Ooh. I can't see a whole lot. Nothing crazy return, but I don't think Vancouver would want anything crazy return because it'd be
What?
more of a salary dump than anything.
Yeah.
Like it.
So I could probably see like late picks, maybe
Yeah.
like fourth. It'd be really push. I'd be extremely happy if Jim Benning managed to get a third out of Tanner Pearson. I can't see a third being possible, but
I think the problem that Benning is going to face with this deal is other teams know that he has to make salary room, and so they're not going to be very
exactly.
excited to help him out, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I mean,
It's-
we'll
yeah,
have to wait
yeah.
and see on it, but it'll definitely be interesting to
Regardless-
see.
I mean, regardless, like if we lose Tanner Pearson, it's not a huge deal. Our second line is already upgraded tremendously with Connor Garland.
Yeah. Shout out to the Moncton
Bump
Wildcats.
Pearson. Let's go. But moving Pearson down would be the right move. So you could have Garland, Horvat, Nils Hoglander.
Yeah.
And Pearson essentially would just be a third line two-way forward for us with Dickinson and Podkolzin, who's
Yeah.
most likely gonna make the lineup this season.
I hope
So-
so. They got him in the Calder race.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be pretty shocked if he didn't make the roster, but
Look, the Calder race is gonna be
losing
fun.
Pearson isn't a huge deal.
Yeah.
For
I mean-
me, we still have a solid top 9. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and also like, what do you think Hughes and Pedersen will get? Like, what's the I like probably won't be. Oh, Hughes might get long term, I suppose. What do you think the money's gonna be?
if Hughes goes long term, I could see him making probably 8 to 9 mil. PD, if it's short term, I could see him maybe making like 6 to 7 if it's short term, like 2 years.
Like kind of like what Point took when he was Point's bridge deal 2 years ago or whatever.
Right.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
Maybe we'll start talking about the Olympics here, just because it's our last prediction for the Olympic teams. I don't know what we're gonna do next week, but
Before we get too far into the Olympics, there's a couple other things I wanted to mention.
go ahead.
We did miss a couple signings. Nolan Patrick signed in his deal with Vegas, 2 years, 1.2 mil. And then Elvis Merzlikins, who we'll see once we get to Columbus, signed 5 years, 5.4 mil. Extension, so that starts next season.
It seems like a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot, but
You gotta pay people to play in Columbus.
right.
It is a lot, but I think he's proved he's the starting goaltender in Columbus, and he's a good fill for Sergei Bobrovsky. You know, that was a while ago. Thinking about that now, that's crazy. But
Every time
he's really proved his role.
Yeah.
He's a great goaltender, and I think that's a pretty solid deal.
Fair enough.
Sign him up long term for 5 mil. That's can't go wrong with that. For a good starter goalie.
Let's we'll jump in here to our last Olympic predictions. So we did Canada 1A and 1B because there's so many fucking good Canadian players in this league that it made sense to do too. So we'll start off here with Ethan's lineup. Ethan, if you want to run us through here who you picked and I was gonna say I
so-
already see Mark Scheifele's there. Ryan's gonna be mad about that.
Sorry, man. Yeah, I thought of the first line. I put a lot of thought into this. I thought of the first line. I was like, man, Jonathan Huberto's got to be one of the most underrated left wingers in the game. And to play with Connor McDavid and put someone super defensive like Mark Stone on a line like that, it would really balance out the line, I think.
Yep.
And could even, Canada's just, it's so good, This could be one of the best shutdown lines. This could be one of the best offensive lines. And having this as your first go-to line really shows Canada's strength and what they have. Their second line, I went with the Nova Scotia line in Marcia, Crosby, and McKinnon.
Yeah, like that
They play a lot in the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if Crosby's going to want to play, it was hard to make this decision because Crosby, Bertrand, Marchand, they've played so well together. Last time 2016 World Cup hockey, they played remarkable. Crosby had one of his best tournaments statistically, and however, I think exchanging Patrice Bergeron with Nathan McKinnon will really impact that lineup a lot and be a lot stronger offensively. Which is crazy to think, how could Crosby's lineup get even better, but
I do like the Tampa connection on the next line.
Yeah, I put the Tampa line Stamkos point, and I put Scheifele there. Scheifele is a good mix. He's a great sniper. Put him with Braden Point. He's great at hitting. Sorry. But no, seriously, great shooter, man. And putting him with Braden Point and Steven Stamkos, I think you're gonna have great shots from both sides.
A clean hitter. Can't wait to see this guy in an Olympic jersey. I like that Leaf connection on the next line, but I don't like the guy who's playing the middle. Cause fuck that guy.
Yeah. There was a lot of chemistry-based lines here. It could really go either way for Canada. But Marner, Tavares, and Bergeron. I think Bergeron's the better centerman.
Oh yeah.
And regardless, you still got John Tavares on the wing and Mitch Marner, who's, in my opinion, the best Leafs player. On the fourth line of Team Canada, that's unbelievable. And I'm not sure how they would use this line. I think they would kind of use it more of a shutdown line, which I think could potentially work out. Again, this is only a prediction.
Yeah, of course.
But
we're not gonna hold you to this. This is our way too early Olympic predictions. But the one thing I will say about what you just said is I don't know. This guy right here on the poster, Austin Matthews, might give that guy a run for his money for best Leaf, but
it's fair.
I just love Austin Matthews, man. Guy's nuts.
Yeah.
We'll go on to your defense here. I like how you did a lot of this chemistry stuff going. Well, actually, let's talk about your extra guys real quick. Barzal, O'Reilly, and Horvat.
Right. So this was really hard. For the sole purpose of Matt Barzal, I think O'Reilly and Horvat being a solid scratch in case somebody gets injured.
Gives you that shut
fit in and play that strong shutdown game.
That's what I mean. It gives you that shutdown, and then you got that speed. Like if Marner or something goes down, you put Barzal in there.
Right. It was really, really hard not putting Barzal in. I really like Barzal, but I couldn't really see a spot where he was better than Marner or Tavares, Stamkos, Scheifele.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, onto the old defensive here. What are we looking at?
So we're looking at Shea Theodore and Alex Pietrangelo. I think Pietrangelo is he's clearly the veteran here amongst a young defensive core in Canada. With Petrangelo's solid two-way defensive style of game and Shea Theodore's offensive style of game, I think they're a great mix. They showed it in Vegas this season, especially on the power plays. And
Oh yeah.
We move on to Eggplant and Kale Mccarr. This is a mix of really height and weight, but Eggplant, the big body, is going to be playing more of that defensive game, and Kale Mccarr being the more offensively gifted defenseman. I mean, it's crazy, you know.
Oh yeah.
This is a top pairing on any team.
All of these, I honestly believe all of these pairings and lines are top one on any of these NHL teams, and all three of these goalies could be starters on any of the teams. Like Canada's just that deep. Like Shabbat and Dougie Hamilton, that's great. Like I would take that on the Leafs in a heartbeat.
Absolutely. So yeah, my final core is Thomas Shabbat and Dougie Hamilton. Thomas Shabbat, I think, gets a lot of what's the word?
Hate.
A lot of I guess hate for playing on such a non-succeeding team this season. I really think Thomas Shabbat is the top defenseman. He's really overlooked by a lot of people. But again, I could see Morgan Riley or Adam Pelech going into this for Thomas Shabbat. I think 5 of these defensemen that I have predicted stay in the lineup. But Thomas Shabbat could be a mix with Riley or Adam Pelech for the.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Adam Pelech is just he's so gifted defensively, you know. He's one of the best defensive defensemen. I made that choice no problem. Picking him as a scratch.
So on to your goalies here. I'm fairly certain that all three of us, for at least Canada 1, picked all 3 of the same goalies. I mean, I'm looking at Ethan's goalies, and I picked those 3 for 1. Yeah. Like Black, Price is
a little slightly different, but we'll talk.
Price is the guy you're gonna throw in. Fleury is that veteran guy who you're gonna be like, okay, kid, you're going in if Price is done, and then Blackwood's just that guy who's full of piss and vinegar you can put in there. He's a rookie, you'll get it done.
Yeah, he might be the guy 5-10 years from now he'll probably start Canada.
Yeah, exactly. Well, anything you want to say about your goalies there, Ethan? I kind of took over there for a second.
No worries. Carey Price, 100% the starter for Team Canada this year. But one of the best goalies in the world. Top 3, in my opinion. I still think Carey Price is arguably, top 3 goaltender. That can be controversial for some, but Carey Price has been so overlooked and hated on for bad season that happened so long ago, or injury. But he was one of the main reasons Montreal made it to the Stanley Cup Finals. As Ryan can probably agree.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't make cup final without him.
No. We'll get on to Ethan's the B team here, and I'm looking at the B team, and like I've been saying from the beginning, man, this team is fucking good, man. Like, it's solid. Like, I don't know about you guys, but the easiest time I had was picking defensemen for Team B. Like, it's just, there's so many good Canadian defensemen in this league right now. The forward core, I mean, it's a little bit weaker, but, like, there's still a lot of standouts on this team. Like, I mean, you want to run us through this real quick, Ethan?
Yeah, so Claude Giroux, Barzal, Tyler Seguin. I'm a huge Seguin fan.
Yep.
It's a good mix and match. I think playmakers, snipers, they all gel well together. Very offensive first line right here.
Yep.
Then
I go on to Marcia, Couturier, and David Perron, who actually was over a point, just by a little bit, but was over a point per game for the Blues last season, which was crazy. I never look at David Perron as being one of those top players, but he fits in a top 6 role so well.
Yep.
I think he would 100% make this team. My third line, I have a little bit of defense with a little bit of offense. Ryan O'Reilly, of course, one of the best face-off takers in the world. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins on the wing, and a player I love watching, Nick Suzuki. He's just he's incredible. I mean, he's electrifying when he touches the puck. You know, having him on the third line is with a very defensive-minded centerman. I think will help him be more offensive. I moved to my fourth line here. Connor Brown. I was kind of in the mix here. I was thinking, man, like, I'm not sure, but he's got that strong power forward ability to him with Bo Horvat and Sam Reinhart. I think that's a really strong fourth line.
Yeah, I could definitely see Connor Brown being that guy though. Like, if Canada actually did send two teams, we wanted like a fourth line shutdown line, that would work.
100%. But it was a tough toss-up between Carter Verhaeghe, Braden Shen, and Yanni Gord. All those guys are really, really good. But I went with Connor Brown.
Fair enough.
Sole purpose to shut down. I started my decor with the two scratch players that I had, Adam Pellick and Morgan Riley. Just a great mix of defense and offense there. I go to Darnell Nurse and Tyson Barrie. A little bit of chemistry here from Edmonton. Size, it plays a factor in this. Barrie being 5'10", Darnell Nurse being huge. You know, I don't know his height, but he's
great
big.
player. I think he's 6'5". Brian's looking it up. Maybe 6'4". I don't know. The last line though, it's still just like, it's great. Like, this team's great all around.
I mean, Jacob Chychrun and Chris Letang. I mean, that says enough about itself. But my scratch players, Drew Doughty and Mackenzie Weegar. I do have Drew Doughty scratched. He's been, in my opinion, declining for the past couple of years.
I agree with that.
It's hard to make that say, considering, you know, LA's been going down the hole for those past couple of years as well. But Drew Doughty's game has really dropped, and you can see defensemen on bad teams do well. But Drew Doughty has not been playing that great on LA. Still a great defenseman, but I think he would be a scratch in this scenario. But if you did put him in,
he'd be solid.
To the top six, he'd be solid, you know.
And I mean, I'm just like looking at the goalies here. If this is gonna be like, if it's Blackwood and Hart for our next few Olympics, I'm satisfied with that.
100%.
Like,
absolutely.
I mean, I think Bennington could make the first team if he wasn't such a hothead and tried to fight everybody. Like, the dude did win a Stanley Cup. Credit to him. Him and Fleury are the only two guys that on the goalie side of Canada that have really won one in the past little bit. But I don't know. You gotta have that. He doesn't have a lot of poise, that guy. But honestly, Ryan, I said it in our last video. I think this team competes with Team America. I don't know if they win, but I think they compete.
I don't know if they compete with Team America, but they definitely. I think it's put a.
Fair enough. I mean, let's go on here. I think this is my line. I just want to make sure. Yeah, this is me. All right, so as you can see on the first line, I decided to go with Nathan McKinnon, Crosby, and Marner, just because, you know, you get the nuts for just craziness of McKinnon and Crosby, and then you put him with Mitch Marner. I think that's just gonna be dirty. Like, Marner, all three of these guys can get themselves into open space by themselves, and then the second line, Mark Stone, Connor McDavid, and Barzal. I started Barzal. I think he's got enough skill and speed. If you put him with David, it's just gonna be nuts. They're just gonna tear other teams apart with their speed. And Mark Stone, like, just put your stick on the ice, be in the right spot. He's smart enough. He makes $9.5 million. Put your stick on the ice. Connor McDavid will feed you the puck and he'll put it in. On that third line, I also went with the Stamkos point connection. I put him with Huberto because I agree Huberto is one of the most underrated wingers in the game right now. If he was on on a better team, on a team that scored more, he'd be a 100-point guy.
I wouldn't be surprised if he scored.
Oh, I wouldn't either. I wouldn't even bat an eye. I'd be like, it's deserved. And then on that fourth line, I went with the hard shutdown here. Marchand, Bergeron, and O'Reilly. Ain't nobody fucking with that line. Have fun.
No, sure, man.
And then the two scratch guys, I went with Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin. I am a big Tyler Seguin fan, and I put Jamie Benn there just because, he's been there before. He knows what he's doing. He'd be a good guy just have in the locker room for some of these younger guys. And then on defense, I actually there's a little bit of difference here because I went with Drew Doughty and Pietrangelo on the first line. I love Pietrangelo, and as much as I said Drew Doughty's been on the decline, I still think he's great. I think he could play. Ryan Ellis and Kale Mccarr. Kale Mccarr is crazy, dude. Did he win the Calder this year? I think he did, right? He had
year before that.
Okay, yeah. He had 78 points or whatever this year. Just a guy who's going to be around this league for a long time. Great defender. Ryan Ellis, I kind of went with that a little bit more. That he's a good defenseman. He's a shutdown guy. He can get out there. He can get you points. And then Dougie Hamilton and Darnell Nurse. No one's they're both just solid. Like, it's solid all around. I kind of went with a more defensive, like a mix of heavy offense and heavy defense on this defensive core. And then the last guy, Aaron Eckblad, he could crack this lineup. Like, you could see Darnell Nurse getting pushed out, or maybe even Ryan Ellis getting pushed out. But either way. And I also just realized I didn't even go with Blackwood on the first team. I went Darcy Kemper. I love this guy.
Yeah.
He's crazy.
All choice.
Yeah, he's crazy. I went with the other two same goalies. There's not really much to say there. We kind of went through it all. But Darcy Kemper played on Arizona last year, got moved to Colorado. I think he's going to be solid. We said in the video, I think it's Colorado's division to lose, and he is going to be the backstopper that's going to put them there. So, we'll get on here to my B team, and I just, I'm surprised none of you guys called me out on this yet, but I didn't put John Tavares on that team.
Yeah.
I didn't put John Tavares on that team. And was I not thinking? Do I feel bad? No. I think that there's enough goal scorers on that team where they should go with speed over just guys who just need to put their stick on the ice. As much as I love JT, I think that Barzal plays his role better. So he might get brought there. Again, this is just way too early predictions, but we'll get in here to my Olympic B team here. Of course, Claude Giroux, John Tavares, Mark Scheifele. Great line. Just great all-around line. I can't really say much. Just, one guy who's going to kill someone, shut him down, makes it work. The other two guys will pass the puck to each other. Well, that guy's beating someone else's face in. Works great. All real talk, though, Mark Scheifele's like the nicest guy on the ice. He doesn't even swear. Like, it's hilarious. You ever watch a clip of Mark Scheifele go out onto the ice when he's, like, mic'd up? He won't swear at all. It's crazy.
Wow.
Talking to referees and stuff, he's like the nicest guy. He just laid a slightly dirty hit. But, then I went with Tyler Toffoli, only because he scored 11 goals on Vancouver last year. But, it is what it is. Logan Couture and Josh Bailey. He was just getting his revenge. They shipped him away and he got his revenge. He was proving a point. Josh Bailey, I honestly think this might be a hot take. He's underrated. I believe. I don't know if it's just because of where he plays or who he plays with, but maybe it's just his positioning. He knows where he needs to be, but he's super underrated. Like, this guy in the playoffs, he's a playoff performer. Like, he just goes out there and he just gets points for you. Next line here, Sam Bennett. I think Sam Bennett just got dragged through the mud in Calgary, and we saw what he could do when he was put in an actual position in Florida, and I think he's going to continue that. So that's why I think that he's going to be, like, he could be that guy there. Braden Shen will win you faceoffs. And Anthony Mantha, the guy's on pace to score 30 every fucking year, but he gets hurt. Like, if he stays healthy, he would make this team, no doubt in my mind. But will he be healthy in February? That's where I question. So then I went with Alexis Lafreniere. I kind of went off the board a little bit on these. Shout out to the title. So Lafreniere, Sean Couturier, solid guy, and then Josh Anderson, who Ryan loves. Guy goes out there for $5.5 million. You're not going to get much better than Josh Anderson, to be honest. But the reason I went with Lafreniere over someone like Philip Deneau, shout out Michael Wildcats, or Yanni Gord, was because I think Lafreniere just had a bad year last year, and I think he's going to come out and absolutely tear it up. Like, there's a chance, he could make the actual Olympic team. Like, if he goes out and proves his own skill, he could. I'm not going to say he will.
Shot, but
yeah, he is an outside shot, so it's possible. So then I went with the defense side here, Morgan Riley and Brent Burns. Brent Burns is a solid defender. Like, even though he's been on the decline, he's still solid. You put him out there with a guy like Morgan Riley, they'll be fine. Thomas Shabbat, love Thomas Shabbat, and I love Tyson Barrie. Tyson Barrie, when he was on the Leafs, just got dragged through the mud because we put him in the wrong spot, and then when they fired Babcock and brought in Keefe, he actually started to perform better, but at that point it was too late anyway, so... and then Jacob Chychrun and Chris Letang. I mean, Chris Letang is kind of in that weird kind of player for me. He's been on the decline lately, so I don't know. It's kind of tough, but I love Chychrun's game. Chychrun held OEL together last year on that line. So, we'll see. And then Colton Parayko, go out, lay the body, get back, pass the puck. He's one of the best outlet passers in the game from what I've seen. And then goaltending here, Blackwood, Binnington, and Jake Allen. I left Carter Hart off my list because look, man, the guy screwed me over in fantasy last year, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So I have a personal vendetta against that guy now. He ruined my fantasy team. But, Jake Allen, he's the only guy we haven't really talked about. He's a solid player. Like, he could start on most NHL teams, and he's on a really good contract backing up in Montreal. Like, that's the perfect spot for him to be. So, I think this team, this team would do fine. So we'll jump.
Mentioning Jake Allen, I completely agree. I think if Carey Price the reason we made the Stanley Cup Finals, without Jake Allen, we don't make the playoffs.
Yeah,
Carey Price was injured most of last year. We do need him. All right.
Trying to find your thing. Just give me a second. There we go. So we'll hop ahead here into Ryan's team one.
All right. Well. No surprises really. McKenna, McDavid, Barzal, all players on this team put all the first line speed kills. We saw it with Team USA and World Juniors last year. Speed absolutely kills, and these are the three of the fastest guys in the league.
Yeah.
And just who needs defenders? Just blow by their defense. It's fine.
Essentially.
Marcia and Crosby, Bergeron, tried and true team. There's not much else to say. I mean, they've been solid for the last few tournaments with the NHL players. I don't see any reason to change it. Huberto, Couturier, Marner.
Couturier.
A little bit of everything. Yeah, Couturier, one of the best defensive centers in the league.
No, absolutely. I don't disagree at all. I'm just kind of surprised to see him on the first team.
Yeah, no, I absolutely think this guy makes first team.
Over O'Reilly, really?
Marner. Yeah, honestly.
I'm just curious to see because I get it. I love Sean Couturier, but I also love Ryan O'Reilly.
Yeah, I do too. I think Ryan O'Reilly, great player, Hall of Fame.
Oh, absolutely. Minus his one issue where he crashed into a Tim Hortons, but that's in the past.
I was just gonna bring that up.
Other than the one DUI.
It is what it is,
Other than one DUI, I mean, the guy's a Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
So
Tim Hortons or NHL Hall of Fame,
Yeah, absolutely.
He's going both.
He got put on the wall, if you know what I mean.
That's one way to put it. I think he put himself on the wall.
Oh yeah, well that's what he's got to do. It's who he is.
Okay,
that's right, man.
You want to go through? Run us through your last one.
Yeah, going back here. Huberto, Marno, all players. Tavares, Point, Stone. This is where I think it's the most open. I mean, you could move Stone, switch around Marner and Stone if you want to. Maybe get that Leaf connection.
Yeah.
Maybe an even more defensive third line. Throw Stamkos up there, get Point and Stamkos on there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you could do. It really does come down to coaching at this point. But yeah,
we all agree
O'Reilly, Stamkos.
We all agree Canada's going to be an absolute fucking gun show out there. Like, it's going to be great to watch. I love watching Olympic hockey, and it's especially better when we actually get to send our best players.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I think if 2014 was the year that we had the best defense hockey's ever seen, this might be the year we have the best offense.
Yeah, and I still don't hate the defense on this team either. Like, honestly.
Yeah, defense is still okay. But, the offensive power that we have now,
man,
it's unmatched, really.
I must be really underrating Shea Theodore. Like, really underrating the guy. Because I didn't even put him on my B team.
Shea Theodore is a top defenseman in this league. It's being overshadowed by Alex Pietrangelo, but in Vegas, he's been solid. Very. I like that top pair for Team Canada. Do great. Second pair, Letang and Mccarr. Kale Mccarr, obviously, is in the running for the North last year. Calder year before that. Great up-and-coming player, probably becomes number one defenseman for Team Canada in the future. Crystal Tang, it's Crystal Tang. If you bring him, if for nothing else, you make Crosby happy. That counts for a lot.
Yeah.
But he's still a lot of veteran presence. Not that this team really needs it, but I think he's still got that step, still got that offensive power still. So, and then third pair, Eggplant, Dougie Hamilton. Like I said before, both very good players. Eggplant, I think, is going to have a solid year this year, and really prove that he deserves to be on this team. Then Morgan Fish is okay.
Yeah. I also noticed you picked 4 goalies. Could you not decide between 3 here?
Carey Price and Marc-Andre Fleury are 1-2.
Yep.
And then their third goalie, it is Blackwood or Hart. Whoever has the better year up till the Olympics, they make the roster. Other guy, maybe next time.
That's fair. I mean, before we just jump ahead to the B team, because we all kind of picked the same players for the A team, you just want to... Who do you think is going to be the captain of this team? Just
actually,
real quick.
I want to talk about that too. I think your captaincy still goes to Crosby, and then the A's probably looking at McDavid.
McDavid and who, sir? Oh, you're still thinking, sorry.
McDavid and probably maybe Bergeron.
Hmm.
Or maybe Pietrangelo if you want to put it on D.
Yeah.
Even Crystal Tank's in that conversation, but I think it's Crosby and Dane Bergeron as group. Captain 4.
I will say I think Ryan's right. I think it's gonna be Crosby, McDavid, and I'm gonna give it to Pietrangelo as the third.
Okay.
But
I agree. 100%.
You can't I think we all agree on Crosby is the best leader on this entire team. Connor McDavid's probably a close second. I mean,
not that there's a shortage of
no, absolutely not, absolutely not. You could slap the captain on any of these guys really, and I would be like, cool, I'll follow these guys into hell.
7 NHL captains.
Yeah. Are you counting prior captains too?
Oh wait, no, that's 8. That's 8.
Sorry, JT is our captain. I forgot about that. I forgot about the whole captain underpants thing. And then there's captain.
Randall is captain.
Yeah, there's also 1,000 A's on this team too.
Yeah. Everybody else here has an A, maybe not.
It might not, I don't know if Point does, but everyone else I'm pretty sure is wearing the assistant captain, other than Dougie Hamilton because he just got signed to a new contract. But I think we can assume that he's at least gonna get an A.
Yeah.
So
see him not wearing any.
We'll get on to Ryan's B team here before we get into the Metro division. I don't think there's I gotta find it. Hold on. I don't think there's really much to say about this if we run it through real quick. But all these teams are just really good. There's Ryan's team.
All right. Is it mine, or I think this might be Ethan's?
Yep, it is. I was like, wait a second.
I really like this lineup, Ryan. Yeah.
I was like, here's the thing. I was looking at it on the record screen, and I'm like, these aren't right. What the fuck did I do? All right, go ahead.
I mean, again, solid roster. Giroux, Scheifele, Konecny, first line. Much as I don't like Scheifele, it's a good player.
Yeah.
Sucks to be the truth, but he's a good player.
Of course.
Second line, Hall, Seguin, I think it's, and Gallagher. Gallagher, absolute workhorse.
Heart of the line.
Great line there. Foley, Strome, Perron. Again, like Ethan was saying, Perron. I was looking at top scorers from the last few years. David Perron was in the post.
Yep.
Kind of shocked, but I mean, if it works, it works.
Exactly.
And Foley, one of the top goal scorers last year. I don't know if he'll repeat that performance this year, but I'd love to see it. Couture, Horvat, Suzuki, again, solid players. Or good veteran presence. Horvat, solid player. And then Nick Suzuki, absolutely what the fuck. I haven't had a player on the Habs that excited me since PK Subban. It has been a while since I've had a player that excited. And then Riley Smith and Mike Hoffman. Years. Hope he can do it again, and I think he could make B team.
Yeah.
On defense wise, Shabbat, Dougie, solid players. Dougie, good leadership, good veteran presence. Morrissey, Pareko, both very solid defensemen. Devin Tays, Tyson Barrie, and Darnell all on there. Make a third pair, whatever you like. I think they're solid players.
Yeah.
And then goaltending, Blackwood and Hart, whoever doesn't make A, makes B. Easy. And then Skepper's back up and Jordan Bennington is your third. Bennington, you know, bit of a hothead. I don't know if it's kind of A. You know, there's been some troubles the last couple of years in the regular season. Kemper, though, you know, there's an argument he can start on his team. There's an argument he can make A, absolutely. So
I mean, like, the thing is, I just want to point this out before we go on to the Metro here, but this goes to show how good Canadian NHL players are, because all of us on Team B went with a lot of different players, and none of us disagree that those guys could make it. Like, that's how good these teams are, and it's just like, I'm just in awe of how good Team Canada is going to be, and it's going to suck when someone beats us. You know, I know. I hope so too. I believe. I'm scared because the last time he said I believe was in the playoffs, it was the Leafs, and it actually worked. So we'll go on here to talking about the Metro breakdown this week, and
all right,
I believe we're starting with the Pens here, and I did the Pens lines. Just give me a second while I find them. Perfect. Here we go. So the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Mm-hmm.
Jake Guentzel, Sidney Crosby, and Jeff Carter. I don't have to say much about Crosby. We know who he is. Jake Guentzel's been his winger for the past 2 years, and it's just been working. They brought in Jeff Carter last year, and he had like 8 goals in the amount of time he played there, and it was only like 16 games, something like that. So he was on a pretty good pace for goals. So I think if you put him on Crosby's wing, again, it's just kind of like a guy. Put your stick on the ice. He'll figure it out. He's smart. Second line, Jason Zucker, maybe getting paid a little bit more than I'd like, considering Josh Anderson makes the same money, and I think Anderson's a better player. But Malkin is still a solid second liner on most teams. He probably play first line still on most teams. And
first line on most teams, yeah.
Yeah, Brian Rust. I mean, he's a good player. He's played on Crosby's wing instead of Carter for the past little bit, but I still think that he'll make this line work. He's a workhorse when he's out there. Third line, I mean, it's not really a lot there. I mean, Teddy Bluger. I love that guy's name, by the way. Teddy Bluger. Kasperi Kapanen. Pretty good player. I kind of miss him being on the Leafs. It's kind of funny. What? Way to go,
Kapanen. Yeah.
It's kind of funny how all things kind of start where they begin. Kapanen gets moved to the Leafs. We move him back to the Pens where he started, and he seems to have found a better role in Pittsburgh than he ever could in Toronto, really. So it seems to work. The fourth line, I mean, there's not really a lot there. I don't really go into it that much. Just all solid players there. Defensively, we got Chris Letang playing with Michael Matherson. Matherson played pretty good in this spot last year, so I think he'll still be able to compete with that. And I mean, like, a lot of the guys 2 through 5 here could be interchanged. Like, we could see Marcus Pettersson move up the line. We could see John Marino move up the lineup. It's just going to be who it is. So it's not really a lot to say. They have a lot of solid guys 2 through 5. Their 6th defenseman might be a little bit of, up in the air a little bit for this year, but you know who your 1 is on this team, and you know that you have a solid 2 through 5. And then goalies, Tristan Jarry and Casey DeSmith. I mean, both those guys are solid. Like, they made this team work last year. They're not great, but I'm not going to say this team's going to make the playoffs. It's Pittsburgh. I never count Sidney Crosby out.
Yeah, that's a good point. Now, here's a question, though. Crosby and Malkin both might be missing the start of the season. We don't think, Malkin is out with his knee, and Crosby's out with the wrist for 4 weeks.
Yep.
Both are questionable to start the season. They should be back relatively soon, but...
I mean, we're playing...
those first few games, you have Teddy Bluger's first line center.
Well, we're playing a full 82 games, right? So it's not going to... In the grand scheme of things, they'll still be able to pull this team out. And like I just said, I never count Sidney Crosby out. Dude's won 3 Stanley Cups. In this era, I'm not going to count the guy out. But like I said, I still think this is a playoff team, even if they don't start the year. Now, if they miss a ton of time, like they miss over half the year, then it's going to be a lot harder for them because they just don't have that studded offense that we're used to with the Penguins. I mean, Crosby and Malkin have been that for a long time. So, but we'll get on here to the next team. There's not really a lot to say. The Penguins they've been solid, and they're solid, and they've been solid for a long time. So we'll go on here.
One more thing.
Yep.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Crosby's been over a point per game every season in his career. Do you think he's going to be over a point per game this season?
Yes. I can't count this guy out, man. Every time Sidney Crosby feels like Tom Brady. Every time I try to Like, that guy's done. No, he's not. He's a god. He's a hockey god. Like, he's that good. And if he didn't go through those injuries early in his career, who knows what he could have done? Where he could have ended up on the all-time stat leaderboard. Because he missed, what, like, 3-ish years were taken from him? Like,
roughly.
That's just unfortunate. But, we'll get in here to the Flyers. I also did the Flyers line. So how we did it this time is I did the first 3, then Ethan did 3, and then Ryan's finishing us off in the last 2. So we'll get in here to the Philadelphia Flyers, the new-look Flyers, because they did make some moves this offseason. Yeah. So, we got Claude Giroux, and we just found out today that Kevin Hayes will not play for 6 to 8 weeks, so I'm just going to say he's not going to be starting the year. So we'll probably see Couturier play that first line, and then the centers will just move the line. Derek Brassard will probably be playing fourth line. But Claude Giroux and Travis Konechny, solid. They're good. I kind of wrote Konechny off 2 years ago, and then he really proved me wrong, and he's kind of just tearing it up lately, so I don't think he's going to stop doing that. Second line, JVR, kind of a little overpaid, kind of a little old at this point, not really putting up the points that he once did, but it is what it is really with him. Its second line is still pretty solid. I mean, they have Cam Atkinson because we saw them move Jakub Voracek, which I was shocked about, to bring Cam Atkinson in. I don't know if that's a good move or not. Like, do you guys think that was a solid move for them, or do you think they would be better off keeping...
You save, what, $2.5 million in cap space?
Yep.
But, like, Cam Atkinson, Voracek, though,
I'm not like to me. I don't want to say they feel like the same player because I think Atkinson's a little bit more of a downgrade, but I think that goal scoring wise, I think Atkinson's got the upper hand. Like I think that Voracek's more of a pass first. I mean, I could be completely wrong in saying that, but I think so. I don't know. I agree. I think Atkinson will be fine in this spot. And I mean, like on the third, like their third and fourth line, it's a lot of solid guys. Scott Layton's been in the league for quite a while now. He's been good. Oscar Lindbaum, he's been solid. He's been pushed around to a few teams now, I think. And then their centers and stuff. Like there still could be guys that come in and out. We'll see. So on the defensive side, couple moves this year, and I'm gonna say it. I like them. Ivan Provorov playing with Ryan Ellis. I like that.
Yeah.
Travis Sanheim playing with Rasmus Ristolainen. I like Ristolainen. I like that move. You move off of Seamus Gostisbehere, and you get Rasmus Ristolainen to play that spot. Great. Keith Yandel, who is on that Ironman streak, which I'm pretty sure he's really close to being one if he plays the majority this year, which might not happen. We'll have to see. And then Justin Braun. Like, this defensive core is actually solid. Like, I like it a lot. Travis Sanheim, and Rasmus, like, that line works. The first line will work. And I think that Ryan Ellis is going to make Provorov a better defender. The only question mark I have on this team after seeing what they did last year is goaltending. Because goalies in this league are fucking weird. Like, Carter Hart, first year plays great, second year does nothing. I don't know if it was just because of the pandemic and maybe he didn't like not having any fans there to watch or what. And the backup's Martin Jones, who I think is overpaid at $2 million after what we've seen from him in the past 4 or 5 years in the Sharks. Yeah. Like, I mean, I'm sure they'll figure it out, but like.
Yeah, I mean, I think in a backup role he might be a bit better.
No, I'm not saying that he's not going to be better in a backup role. I just still think $2 million is a lot for him.
Yeah, I mean, $6 million. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, so I gotta agree though with the defense. Keith Yandel, was that almost minimum contract?
With a no move, I just noticed he's got a fucking no move clause on a min.
No trade clause.
Don't trade me.
I think Keith Yandel still has it, and just like you said, this decor is a huge upgrade to what it was last season, and I really like Risto. I hope he bounces back this year. He had a tough time in Buffalo. It was really poor gameplay from him, but I think he lost his motive playing in Buffalo. Which happens to a lot of, I'm sorry, Buffalo fans, but it happens to a lot of Buffalo players, and it's unfortunate.
Jack Eichel doesn't want to be there anymore. Sam Reinhart didn't want to be there anymore.
Exactly. I mean,
it is what it is. I mean, the thing like the thing that I love about the Metro though is, I mean, like, we're gonna do the Atlantic video in the next division, and the Atlantic is stacked to the point where they're probably gonna win both wildcard spots. But I don't know, man. I like the Metro division a lot too, and the Metro division always surprises me because every time, like, it's like every team I'm like, I think this team is done, and then they just do really good, and so I think it's gonna be really interesting to see how this division plays out this year.
Yeah, absolutely, especially with Philly. You know, that defense definitely an upgrade. That was the biggest problem last year. You know, solid upgrades. Also, quick mentioning, Keith Yandel. We mentioned his Iron Man streak. He has 42 games from tying the record, 43 to take it. So yeah, solid player. Another player was very close. I didn't realize Phil Kessel.
Really?
He's 22 games behind Keith Yandel, and I think 900 consecutive games for Phil Kessel, 922 for Keith Yandel. The record 964.
Ethan sent me a video today of Phil Kessel playing basketball against Ryan Reeves, and it is I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it is the funniest video I've ever seen. Phil Kessel goes, yo, I can play, and Ryan Reeves checks the ball up to him. Phil Kessel shoots it, airballs. 3 immediately.
But I can ball.
Yeah, he's...
Jake Gensel in the back, sitting beside Ryan Reeves. He's looking at this guy. He's like, man, what did I just hear him say? There's no way. I mean, props to Phil Kessel. That Iron Man thing that you mentioned is actually unbelievable. I mean, the guy runs off of hot dogs for fuel.
Yeah.
2 Stanley Cups. I mean, the guy's a living legend.
He's a career 30 goal scorer who started in Toronto, and he kind of made it work. Ate a bunch of hot dogs. We sent him to Pittsburgh. He decided to win 2 Stanley Cups, and they sent him to Arizona. Like, what the fuck?
I mean, I think you gotta name your kids after Phil Kessel.
Hey, don't tempt me, man. I'll name my kid Phil.
I will name my kid Phil Kessel.
So,
Phil Kessel.
We'll go on here to the Rangers. It'll be my last team I did the lines for. So, I do like this team, and I also just realized that I must have misclicked because I'm gonna start with defense here. Adam Fox should be on the first line with Trouba. That's my bad. I must have just missed and dragging players around. So it's gonna be Trouba with Fox, and then it'll be Lindgren playing with Namath, which is not like that great of a second pair, but I'm sure that they'll figure it out. They're both solid NHL guys. The one that I'm really not worried about, but I wonder about, is their third line, Tenorti and Miller. I mean, it could be, I think, Hajic. I can't remember how you pronounce that guy's name. Could move in there, because I'm pretty sure he played with them last year quite a bit. So
Hajic.
Yeah, Hajic. Yeah, so he could move in there, but I really love the goaltending on this team. I mean, Georgiev and Shesterkin could probably start on most teams, and it's kind of like a 1-2 punch. There's a lot of really good 1-2 punches this year in the NHL. Not Mikheyev, but Elvis Merzlikins and I can't remember the other guy's name. Yeah, Korpisalo. Toronto's got Peter Mrazek and Jake Campbell. The Habs have got Price and Allen. Like, there's a lot of really good tandems this year. I think it's gonna be fun, and it's better for goalies to not have to play 72 games a year. They have a longer career, and it works out better for them. They're more fresh when they get to the playoffs. So I'm moving on to the offense here. The team that I think either Tarasenko or Kessel is gonna get moved to, because I look at the right side, and yes, it's Lafreniere and Cabo Caco. I don't really like Cabo Caco. I don't like what I've seen from him the past little bit. I don't know. I'm not gonna call him a bust, but this is gonna be his proving year. It really has to be. And if this team wants to make the playoffs, goal scoring is gonna be the biggest thing that they have to do. And bringing in someone like Phil Kessel or Tarasenko is really gonna help them. But the first line, it's solid. Artemi Panarin, great hockey player. Hopefully he doesn't have to take time off to go to Russia this year. Hopefully he got all that figured out. Zibanejad, great player. He's been in this league for a long time. I'm surprised he's only making 5.3. He's going to get a massive pay raise if you're asking me this offseason. Alexis Lafreniere, like I said, he had a bad start last year. I'm really rooting for this guy because they said he was going to be amazing. I was expecting this guy to come out last year and contend for the Calder. It just didn't work out that way, but he could this year. Second line, pretty sure Ryan hates Chris Kreider, but I don't mind Chris Kreider. So Chris Kreider,
Chris Kreider. Fuck Chris Kreider.
That's fair. Chris Kreider, Ryan Strome. Ryan Strome's a solid second line center. I mean, like he's solid. He'll go out there and put up points playing with Kako, because I got to give this guy the benefit of the doubt that he's going to be able to produce this year. Third line, I mean, Barclays, Goodrow. I could see him taking over Caco's spot if he doesn't actually produce this year, so it'll have to be seen. And then, I mean, Ryan Reeves, we just talked about him. Funny guy. Guy will go out there and lay the body, protect guys like Alexis Lafreniere. It's nice to have that kind of player when these guys are first starting off their careers. On the Leafs, it was Matt Martin. So, it's nice to have...
Panarin.
Yeah, protect the guys, too. Yeah, it's just nice to have those kind of things, you know, because someone, Tom Wilson, jumped Artemi Panarin last year.
So let's go bring that on.
He's got to cut his hair, you know. Instead of having long flows left to pull back there. Yeah, and then, you know... Oh, exactly. So, yeah,
Tom Wilson's even up higher.
I like this team, and I think that they could make strides this year, but I don't see this as being a lock playoff team for me. It's going to be one of those teams that's fighting for either the wild card spot or that third spot in this division, but... I mean, we'll talk about it, but I just want to lay it out real quick. I think that the top 3 teams in this division are... Oh, God, this is tough. I gotta go top 4 here. Carolina, the Islanders, Washington, and Pittsburgh. I can't count any of those teams out, and then the other teams are all just gonna be fighting, like with probably the worst team, which honestly could be... I don't know. This division's tough to call for me. It really is. Yeah. So we'll go on here to the Islanders, and I think that was Ethan who did the Islanders.
I believe it was me, actually.
Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah, sorry. I did the first 3. I gave Ryan the next 2. Cool. Yeah, so, Ryan, here are the Islanders. The new-look Islanders.
Lee Anders, Matt Barzal, Josh Bailey. You know, really front with that line. Mm-hmm. Solid lineup.
Can I ask one question? Mm-hmm. Where do you think, because I don't see him, where do you think Parise is going to end up?
In the press box, Parise signed a 1-year... That was actually worth mentioning. Parise...
the terms came out?
Wait. Did they? Wait.
I don't know. I was asking you.
I don't think so.
I don't think they did either.
Islanders just hiding all their contracts, man. They don't.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I don't know what they're doing.
Lou Lamoriello, man.
I'm telling you, he's living in the 90s. He's living in the 90s.
Mafia boss, he says.
Look at him, man. He makes all his players shave. Do you guys know the reason behind that?
No, I didn't even know that was a thing, but that's hilarious.
So I know the reason behind it. So Lou Lamoriello said that the reason he makes all of his players shave is because he likes the thought of them doing something that they hate in the morning, like them waking up and immediately thinking about Lou Lamoriello. So they wake up, they have to do something that's kind of annoying. It gets them ready for the day. It gets them focused, he said. So that's why he makes them all do it.
Wow.
Sure, Lou.
Yeah, Lou's a weird guy, but do you think so? You don't think Parise cracks this lineup then?
Actually, yeah, I think he does. I mean, you could slot him in over a guy like Matt.
Yeah.
Probably. Like I don't know.
Yeah, that's
you told me Zach Parise is gone. I wouldn't have been surprised. I mean, 37 years old now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
It honestly could just be decent depth to have because I don't know how good Jonathan Ross is. Or sorry, Ross Jonathan.
Yeah, Ross Johnson.
Johnson. Fuck, I can't read.
You know, depth player. But yeah, no. Second line, you got Beauvillier, Nelson, decent line.
Yep.
You know, really go out there, do the work you need.
Mm-hmm.
Then Pajot, Wallstrom, great up-and player. And Pajot, god damn, man, Pajot was a good player.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, Pajot could probably be the second line center in this team. I wouldn't be surprised.
He probably will.
Yeah. Then you got Cizikas, Clutterbuck, Comar, depth players.
Yep.
Well, honestly, their depth is kind of expensive. If I'm looking at it now, but
I mean, a lot of them are on expiring deals.
That is true. I mean, case Cizikas though.
I don't know what the fuck Lou was thinking, but I mean, we'll get on to the defense.
$2.5 million is not much rare. Defense. You get Adam Pelech, Ryan Pollock. Adam Pelech is one of the best defensemen in the league. Ryan Pollock, also a great defenseman.
Mm-hmm.
solid top pair. Sebastian Aho, the Islanders, and Scott Mayfield, another couple of solid players.
Yeah.
Really hold down the fort when they need to. And then Noah Dobson to Zdeno Chara as a pair.
Wow.
That, man. I mean, Noah Dobson, young guy, definitely could use a little bit of help getting going here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's 21 years old and has 14 points in 46 games last year.
Mm-hmm.
A guy like Zdeno Chara could probably help him get him in this league. Definitely a guy could see help out young players here.
Yeah.
I see, man. As a young player coming into the NHL, this has got to be one of the most preferred teams to want to go to.
Oh yeah,
this team is covered of leadership head to toe.
I feel like the issue
whether
is
you're a defenseman, whether you're a forward, whether you're a goaltender, you got someone there. You got Semyon Varlamov. You got Zdeno Chara now. I mean, even without Zdeno Chara, you had Andy Green. Right? Forwards, almost every forward's a veteran in this league.
Yep.
I think all
of
Wallstrom's going to fit great in this
lineup. I think this lineup, the Islanders team is really good. And I don't want to rush anyone or cut us short. I just want to let you guys know that we are just broken the hour mark. I don't know where that hour went, but we're flying through this. So I mean, for the next few teams, I'm sure we can fly through the lineups pretty quickly if we want.
Yeah.
So.
Last mention's broken. Solid starter. Gonna have to here, I think. So moving on.
Get on to the CBJ here.
Yes. This is also nice. Yep. All right. Columbus had a rough year last year. I mean, a few things working out, a little bit of drama, but now you got Patrick Laine, Domi, Voracek, solid first line.
Mm-hmm.
Max Domi in the right situation, scored 72 points in Montreal's first year there. Guys like Laine and Voracek on his line, I think he could repeat it. Honestly. Like Westeros, like Borkstrand, solid players as are Jenner, Czechshay, Liam Foudy, good young player.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting to see what he can do. And then depth places, Igor Chanakyov is another good young piece, as is Emil Bemstrom.
Yep.
So you can see what they can do.
Mm-hmm.
On defense, you had the big trades, Seth Jones for Adam Bachfist. That's what I ended up boiling. That's what it boils down to at the end. Really.
I like Bodquist.
Bachfist, good young player. I think it changed scenery to good though.
Oh yeah.
Especially playing with a guy like Zach Werenski. Zach Werenski, top defenseman in this league, really.
100% leadership galore.
That guy's gonna get paid next year though.
They have. I mean, good. I just noticed Jake being there. I kind of forgot that he kind of got dragged through the mud a lot in Carolina. I found. So I'm glad that he found a spot on another team. But I think he'll have a good year. Yeah, I think that this I don't know. I don't want to cut it short on this team, but I mean we already kind of ran over their goalies here. But
goaltending solid. No worse goaltending.
Personally, I think this team is gonna. I don't know if this team is gonna compete for a playoff spot. I think they might, but I think they'll take a step forward from where they were last year, especially having a new coach.
Absolutely.
Carolina here, this is Ethan's team. We'll run through these last three real quick here. Oh, that's the wrong one. I'm on the last slide. So I mean, Carolina did make a couple moves this year. I just want to say this real quick. Do you guys think Anthony DeAngelo finishes the year on this team? Yes or no?
I don't think he starts the year on this team. If I'm being honest.
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Fair enough. You want to run us through this real quick, Ethan?
Yeah. So, first of all, one of the best first lines in the NHL in Aho, Svechnikov, and Teravainen.
Yep.
I think they're just going to tear it up this year. Second line, Nino Niederreiter, Trocheck, and Jesper Fast. I could see Marty Nakash on the third line moving up to the second line here.
Mm-hmm.
As well as new addition, Jesperi Kakaniemi. Gave up an okay amount. I mean, he's still a growing player.
Ryan, is that a tear I see rolling down your face right now?
No, it isn't. No, it really
I was gonna
isn't.
say, if I was absent, I'd be extremely happy.
No, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, you know, they're like that third line is solid. Like that third line is probably better than most teams' second lines. And the fourth line is full of just a bunch of really good depth pieces, right?
I mean, this team's center core is gonna be one of the best in the league.
Oh, this team,
it's ridiculous.
I don't want to say this now, but I've kind of said this for every division. I think this is Carolina's division to lose. I'm throwing it out there now. I think goaltending is going to be their only weak spot because both these guys could get hurt and play like shit. We haven't seen Anderson. We haven't seen Anderson be healthy and good in like 3 years. And Ranta when he's healthy. I was gonna say when
Anderson last season. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say when Ranta's healthy, he literally posts like a 2.2 save percentage, like a 918 goals against, or sorry, a 918 save percentage, like a 2.2 goals against. Crazy.
Yeah, I mean he's a great goaltender, very underrated. Anyways, I got Slavin and Brett Pesce, two defensive defensemen. I could easily see them being split up just because they're both defensive defensemen. I could see Ethan Bear playing first line or Brady Shea. Regardless, top four, I'm still a little uncertain, but the bottom six, Jake Gardner, and it's tough to say with D'Angelo. It really is. It really is tough to say. They're only a little bit over the cap, so maybe getting rid of Ian Cole may not be the worst thing.
I mean, I heard
I
heard Gardner's name on the trading block like last week, so maybe they're trying to shop Gardner. I'm not sure, but I like Tony D'Angelo. It's a $1 million 1-year deal. The guy's he's a locker room cancer. He fought his own teammates. He's a good player, but you got to put up with the shit. And I will say that a lot of Carolina fans, when they signed him, handed back in their season tickets. So if that shows you if that shows you how they're thinking, then it is what it is. But really good.
We'll see how it turns out in training camp.
Yeah.
We'll see how he meshes the team. But
exactly. So we'll run through here to the Devils. Cause I just this is just a solid team. We know what the Hurricanes are. We've seen what they've been the past few years. Where do we get the Devils lineup here? Flyers, Devils, perfect. Devils lines.
New addition in Tomas Tatar.
Tomas.
I could see him playing. I could see him definitely playing first line minutes. I still do have Nico Hischier on the first line with Jesper Boquist.
Yep.
Great first line. Same with the second line. Jack Hughes and Igor Sharangovich. They played great last year. They gelled well. They started producing near the end of the season. It was nice to see. I like Jack Hughes, mostly because of Quinn, but I like Jack.
I was glad to see him rebound last year. Seemed like he was struggling.
I really think he's gonna jump up this year.
Yep.
I really do.
Yep.
Of course, Andreas Johnson, great winger, but here's where they fall off. Miles Wood, Michael McLeod, Jesper Bratt. It's an okay third line, but it showed last year that their depth isn't as strong and needs to be worked on a ton.
I think that we can just say that hopefully some prospects step up this year. Like Jesper Bratt could be better, I just want to say Kyle Dubas is really bad at signing contracts. But much like Jim Benning, he's really good at trading away those bad contracts. Fuck that Janssen contract, man. Jesus.
Their fourth line could be interesting too. Nolan Foote, a big player, Pavel Zacha, and Alexander Holtz. I see cracking the lineup this year.
I hope so. I mean, the offensively, I still think this team is the worst team in the division. But
I agree.
We could see them take a step. I am 90% sure PK Subban's going to get moved. So they'll have to figure out that spot on defense. But, Damon Stevenson can just move into that spot. So
that's right.
You want to run us through here?
One thing that the Devils have drastically improved on is their D-core.
Yeah.
Adding Ryan Graves, Dougie Hamilton, to that's incredible. Both are very solid defensemen. One's super offensive, one's super defensive. Great mix, and of course Ty Smith, who had an amazing season last season, playing with PK Subban. It's going to be another great year for him, I believe. If Subban could get moved, I guess we'll see. It's a hard contract to move. That's $9 million.
Oh, they're going to eat half of it.
I could see, like a deadline deal eats that. 4.5 PK Subban might be worth it.
The reason I'll just say this real quick. The reason I think PK is going to Boston is because Boston's not starting the year with Tuukka Rask, so it's literally going to be the Linus Ullmark show, which I think Linus Ullmark is solid, one of the most underrated goalies in this league because he played in Buffalo. If the Devils are going to have to eat half of his salary, which puts it at 4.5. And the only way the Leafs would be able to do it is if they then did a 3-team trade where they moved him to another team and they ate another 50% of that 4.5. Which Boston could do, but Boston can eat the 4.5 because they're way better at signing contracts than anyone else. But I still think PK Subban's a good player in this league.
I do too. I love watching the guy. He's an entertainer.
Yep.
I sincerely hope he does well.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless, if Subban does move, which I think could happen if the Devils don't do well, they could trade him, retain half his salary. He's only got a year left on his contract, so. Get back in nice Hall,
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of letting him walk. Damon Severson and Jonas Siegenthaler, great pair. I mean, you got 5 top 4 defensemen in those 6 D-men.
Yep.
Which, it's incredible. We moved to goaltenders, and I see Mackenzie Blackwood obviously being the starter. I think he has another great year. Which could honestly help the Devils be better than last place.
Yeah. I mean, I do think that the Bernier signing, maybe that's a little bit much for Bernier, but he was really solid. He was solid last year, and I think that him backing up this team is just, it works. So I said,
it's a good move.
Yeah. I don't know. I agree with you that this team is going to be better. But I think that they're going to be competing at the bottom of the division with the Jackets.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, they could surprise us, but there's a lot of things that have to go right for them to be able to get up there. So we'll get on here. The last team, the Washington Capitals, who are one of those 4 teams that I think is just going to be good. They're always good.
I didn't have a lot of trouble making this team.
Yeah.
It seems very the same, the same as the past couple of years. Ovechkin, Backstrom, TJ Oshie.
Yep.
New acquisition from last year, Anthony Mantha. I think that's a great pickup.
Yep.
For Jakub Vrana. Plays a stronger role. Now, I put Tom Wilson on the third line. I could see him being second line instead of Carl Hagelin. Just to really, really power that second line. Tom Wilson played such a good third line role that it's kind of hard,
Tom Wilson's scary because Tom Wilson can beat your face in and score 30 goals, and a lot of people hate that, but he can.
Yeah.
I hate Tom Wilson, and we all agree we hate Tom Wilson, but we also probably all agree that if Tom Wilson was on our team, we would love him a lot.
He's one of those players, He's
I would, Ryan. Ryan kind of brushed it off there, but I would love him on my team.
I don't know if I'd love him when he's suspended for.
Okay, but if it was your guy, who's out, it's Nazem Kadri all over again, but except this guy's better. So I'm just saying, if Tom Wilson was on my team out there playing with Auston Matthews, and then someone hit Auston Matthews, and Tom Wilson said, "Hey, come here," I'd be like, "Oh shit, it's going down."
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, regardless, if you keep Hagelin on that second line, that's a disgusting third line.
Absolutely.
Hathaway, Lars Eller, and Tom Wilson. All right, fourth line. That's definitely a scoring fourth line.
Oh, yeah.
Daniel Sprong, Nick Dowd, and Connor Sheary. So their offense is very, very reliant on goals. And I think that's the direction that they want to head in because their defense seems a little weaker than most teams, but they always seem to be in the top of the Metro and in top of the goals for category. I mean, Dmitry Orlov, John Carlson, Justin Schultz, those are some great defensemen.
Yep.
And 3 of your 6, that's not bad. But you're relying on Michael Kempney to be a top 4 guy. You could definitely do better. But with their strong forward core, I think it makes up for it definitely. And great goaltending as well. So
yes.
They can kind of take a punch, and Michael Kempney can kind of stay back and play that super defensive role, whereas Justin Schultz can help produce with the offense, which is crazy to me.
I think that this team...
Another offensive type player playing on your blue line.
I think that this team is going to be relying a lot on... I mean, Samsonov is a good goalie, but the problem is him and Kuznetsov need to fuck off, essentially, and stop doing delinquent shit, and they will be fine. Like, I honestly think that if Kuznetsov gets caught doing another, like, not incorrect thing, but another, like, breaking COVID protocol, having another nose incident, I know he has a no trade clause, but I think they're going to try to trade him. Like,
nose incident.
Yeah, and I mean, the other thing, I know, the other thing I'll say about Vitek Vanek, I think that's how you pronounce that guy's name.
Vitek Vanacek.
Taken by the Kraken, and the Kraken go, to protect an extra player spot, we want a first-round pick. Washington calls them up like 2 days later and goes, we'll give you a second for the guy we took. Okay, here you go. Like, that to me kind of blew my mind. But they took a lot of goalies on that team, and then they went and signed Grubauer, so it is what it is. But I agree with Ethan's take on this team. It's offensively minded, defense is not as good, but John Carlson's good enough where he can make up for a lot of things on this team. But it's going to rely on Samsonov actually being able to play a full season and not getting either hurt or pulled into some suspension or yada, yada, yada COVID protocol. Which we didn't really talk about much this year. I kind of forgot about this when we were talking about Columbus, but Columbus fired their assistant coach earlier this week because he refused to get vaccinated. And they also asked Zach Ronaldo to not attend training camp after attending an anti-vaccination and mask rally. I don't hate that. I mean, I'll make my opinion on the vaccination clear. I think it's safe. I think everyone should go and get vaccinated. I think it's beneficial for the league, and it's nice to see that some of these teams are drawing the line and are going, this is what's going to happen, you're going to do it, and we're going to have a good year. And I think that's, the thing going forward that's really going to help out. I mean, not eradicate COVID per se, but really protect the league and the players and the fans more this year. So, I mean, yeah?
Just quickly getting away from a little off topic here, but we have some breaking news.
Oh, what do you got?
Kirill Kaprizov has signed a contract with the Minnesota Wild. 5 years, $9 million.
Okay, so it's what we thought. We thought that was gonna be. We said that in one of the last episodes. It was gonna be. I said 9x6. You said that I was 9x5. I was pretty proud of myself that I was close. But that's a good contract. That's really good for him. Like.
Yeah.
I mean, Minnesota.
He's only got 1 year under his belt. He's got to prove he can do it again.
Yeah.
Which I think he can.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine. But it's
figure it out, Jim.
Yeah. We'll wrap real quick. I just before we do. Oh, what the hell just happened here? Oh, hold on. I'll fix it. There we go. I had to put something up because when I closed the that window, you guys got mixed around again. So we'll end here on talking about the Metro. I mean, like I don't know if you guys agree with me or not, but I think that the top 4 teams in this division are going to be the Penguins, Islanders, Capitals, and Hurricanes. And then I think that the Rangers could compete for that next spot. I think it's going to be a tight race between them and Philly, and maybe they push in. But it's going to be I think this division is going to be a lot tighter than I thought it was, just because I thought the Atlantic Division is such a juggernaut. But I think we're having the same thing that we ran into last time, where we talked about the Central and we said, the Pacific Division's going to have the Central's going to have the 2 wildcard spots. But honestly, I don't know. I think that this league's a lot closer this year than it's been in the past little bit. Like, all these teams are just solid all around. But
yeah. I had to make my picks though. I'd probably say Perron, New York are 1-2.
Yep.
The Islanders are 1-2.
Yep.
Third, I have Rangers. I think Rangers
Really?
take third, and Flyers take 4.
Interesting.
I mean, Pittsburgh and Capitals are always going to be in the mix. You know,
Of course.
You can never count them out.
Ryan's
I
going
don't
to
know.
the younger look league. I respect it.
I think I'm gonna go Carolina taking number 1. Number 2, I gotta go Pittsburgh taking number 2. Islanders number 3. It's a toss-up between Washington and I'm drawing a blank here. Philadelphia.
Yeah, I
I
think
think it's a
that's.
toss-up with number 4.
I think that's fair. Well,
I think with Philadelphia, they're more balanced team than Washington.
Yep.
Which could help in the long run, but again, it's a lot of what ifs,
yeah. I think it's getting to that point where we should wrap though, because it sounds like Ethan's internet's starting to have a little bit of a stroke there with the last few things he's been saying. But we didn't really have time to do this today, but next week we'll talk about more Ethan's hockey knowledge. I'll hint towards it. Ethan is one of the best ESHL hockey players in NA right now. He's been for the past little bit. Where'd you finish on the points last week? We'll just say that. Where'd you finish last year? Top 15?
Last year. For Hutt too, I finished top 30.
This guy's fucking
Maritimes.
insane. This guy's insane on the sticks, Ryan. But so we'll get more into that next week. We'll talk about what Ethan's been doing, what he does. So guys, I appreciate you guys all watching or listening to this, however you guys are doing it. We are posting on YouTube, Spotify, and we have a Twitter account now. So on YouTube, we are Off the Boards with Josh and Ryan. On Spotify, we are Off the Boards. And on Twitter now, we are at OTB Hockey Pod, because someone stole Off the Boards Pod, and that account's suspended, and I don't want to have to fight with Twitter to get it for us. So, we'll get into this real quick. We'll wrap. I've been Josh, that's been Ethan, and that's been Ryan, and we together have been Off the Boards. Thanks for watching, guys.